To understand why the changing of the name has created a huge controversy in the community, we must first revisit the history around how these terms came to be adopted and what they represent. In 1969, students drafted the organization's manifesto and declared that MEChA, which is pronounced MEChA, would be the student branch of the Chicano movement. So that young Mexican Americans could be themselves, learn their history and embrace their culture. At the time, the Chicano movement was fueled mostly by the American-born children of Mexican immigrants. The organization at the time was at the forefront of the struggle, pushing for the establishment of Chicano and ethnic studies programs across the country and a blueprint known as the Plan of Santa Barbara. As you watched in Dr. Yanez's lecture, the term Chicano is used to refer to Mexican Americans born in the U.S., rising in popularity during the Chicano movement in the 1960s. Aztlán is the mythical homeland of the Aztec people that was lost to the U.S. following the Mexican-American War, often used as a symbol for unity among the Southwest Chicano population. At the 2019 National Conference in Los Angeles, members cited concerns that the name was not inclusive of members who do not identify as Chicano or the controversial idea of Aztlán. Many student leaders voted to drop the references to Chicano and Aztlán, raising concerns that the terms were homophobic, anti-indigenous, and anti-black. First, the origins of Aztlán are based on a myth. So the obscure birthplace of the MEChA tribe has not been discovered yet. Therefore, by having Aztlán, the new generation feels those who are not part of Aztlán are not included. Supporters of the change of MEChA also said that the name also excluded the LGBTQ population, non-Mexican Latinos, indigenous people, and other groups. In sum, these proposed shifts in language represent the changing lens through which younger generations view diversity and inclusion. The older generation feels that the name MEChA was born out of a response to wide-ranging oppression facing Chicanx communities, from education discrimination to labor exploitation to police brutality. According to Rudy Acuna, who is 86 years old, a Cal State Northridge professor emeritus often called the father of Chicano studies, the students who voted in favor of the name change meant well but did so out of ignorance. The old generation understands that Chicano with ending with the letter X is a political identity and not a cultural identity. They also recognize that Aztlán is a concept birthed by resistance and rejection of assimilation, with which Chicanx can acknowledge their belonging to the land of this hemisphere. Despite colonial efforts to strip us of that fact, the name change move will simply remove the historical legacy of the movement.